Hey, so basically, I am a huge proponent of meditation, and not meditation in a standard sense of kind of sitting on a cushion or on my floor and just breathing and having nothing in my mind, but more so, I'm really interested in this notion of how can we engage in different activities that have a really meditative effect. So, and if you look at it from that component, then you'll always find what you need at the time that you need it. We are most of us are part of the first generation of human beings since the dawn of time to not participate in daily forms of meditation. And I don't mean in the yogic sense, again, of sitting and doing nothing or thinking of nothing, but on a daily basis, we're not necessarily creating art or being physically in motion or in prayer or creating music or all of the things that you would think of as being very meditative in their nature. So because we are not doing this as a part of our normal day-to-day activities, we are struggling as a people. I know on the days when I'm not engaging in meditative activities, I struggle. Anxiety builds, my brain races, I can't focus. These are all challenges. And this is part of why people come to a yoga practice, right? You have the opportunity for whatever period of time to just be led through physical postures that make it easier to then sink into nothingness at the end of it. And when you leave your class, or now in your own homes, when you wrap up the practice, you end up feeling like your brain had a break. And that's what meditation does for us. Again, the meditation kind of definition that I like to use is this notion of, it's a focus on one thing with the outcome that everything else goes away. And when everything else goes away, your brain loves that. And that's when your brain gets to do the good work that it needs to do. So if we kind of put this all together and figure out where I'm going with this long rambling prelude to our practice today, I want to introduce you to meditation in 3 acts. Meditation for the body, meditation for the mind, and meditation for the breath. And I want you to treat today's experience like a little bit of a smorgasbord, a little bit of a trip to the Mandarin buffet, and sampling all of these different things. And whatever works for you, remember it. Go back to it, use it again. What doesn't work for you, leave it. You can maybe try it another time or spit it into your napkin and shove it under the table. When you feel that you need meditation in your life, pull out one of these tools, pull out one of these practices and see where it gets you. I have days where I'll pull out a favorite thing and it might not work, so I'll try something else. But the more you practice, the more you bring this in on a regular basis, the better your brain is going to do. And again, with the practice, the whole point is that you get so used to pulling in these resources when you most need them that eventually it's just going to become automatic. If you're stressed, you'll go into a breath practice. If you're agitated, you'll bring some physical movement in. And if your brain just needs a break, maybe you'll do one of the exercises that I throw at you a little bit later. So let's start with the breath, because that's a nice place to begin. A little bit of pranayama, so pulling the energy in and moving it around. So the first breath piece we're going to do is a 3-part breath. I love this. It gets us to slow down. It allows us to tap into really how big our lung capacity is. And all you have to do for this is bring one hand to the top of the chest. The other hand is just going to come beneath the rib cage. I'm going to move back a little further so maybe you can see me a little bit better. So one hand is up here, one hand is here, shoulders are back. And if you're not comfortable sitting on the floor, sit on a chair. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I sometimes do this in the car, holding on still to the steering wheel. So the first breath that you take, you're going to start to fill the bottom of the lungs. And the next breath, the midsection. And then the third breath, the top of the lungs. Interestingly enough, normally we just breathe up here, but I want this practice to help you understand how long and slow and meaningful a breath can be that comes right down to the bottom of your lungs. You're going to feel this lateral movement. Maybe the ribs are going to feel like they're moving a bit. And you also might feel like you have to cough, because that's what happens when we get air down to the bottom of the lungs, kind of mixing up all that crap. Good. So just close your eyes. And let's take our first deep, slow breath in through the nose and leaning back slightly. Just breathe in as much as you can, filling those lungs. Your bottom hand should start to rise up. That's how full a breath you're going to take. And then as you exhale, just kind of gently push into yourself and lean forward. A little bit of an arch through the back. So from here, start with the 3-part breath. So inhale, bottom of the lungs. Inhale, midsection. Inhale, top. And down. Going again. Inhale. 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 And out. Breathing in. And in. And in. And out. Once more, breathing in. And in. And in. And out. Release your arms. Just keep your head bowed forward and take some deep breaths in and out. Good work. And you can just bring your hands to the heart when you're done that, if that feels good. So again, if you needed to, you could do this for 5 or 10 minutes. The increase in oxygen, especially if you're breathing through your nose, that is naturally going to calm you. It can lower your blood pressure, can help you peace out. Focusing on breaking the breath up into 3 parts focuses your brain. It's not easy. You can't unintentionally do this. You have to be present. And being present in that forced way is what helps you push the rest of the world aside for at least long enough to focus, to calm, and to get into that meditative space. So that's one great breath technique. There's another one. It's really simple. We're just going to breathe and count. I like to do a longer inhalation than an exhalation, and you can switch it up, and you can change this as much as you need to. So again, sitting comfortably. You could do this standing as well. And all we're going to do is breathe in through the nose. I'm going to count you for this. So we're going to breathe in for 5 and breathe out for 4. So when you're ready, breathing in for 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, and 4. Let's go again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale for 2, 3, 4. Again, in your own practice, in your own time, you can do this for as long as you need to, as long as you want to. And once again, you're tricking your brain. You are forcing yourself by counting, by stretching your breath longer, and by having that disparity in length between the inhalation and the exhalation, you are forcing a focus that normally would be on the craziness of life, the beeping and binging of a phone, a dog sneezing on the couch, whatever it is, you're in the moment. And the longer you stay in that moment, The longer your brain has that time to just go, oh, thank goodness, everything shut up. And once that happens, your brain gets happy and joyful, and it gets to work solving problems, coming up with great ideas, and removing those perceived or real blocks that we face in our lives. So that's the breath work. This was our first act. So now we're going to bring in the second act, meditation for the body. And this is a little bit more physical. So I'm going to invite you to join me in a standing pose right now. So we'll get up to our feet and we'll go from there. Okay, so now that we're in a standing posture, we'll start with a little bit of breath work to kind of transition into this. Keep in mind, we have not done any real kind of physical warm-up, but you don't need to. Again, these are little quick flows or little quick physical practices that you can put in that meditation tool bucket. So if you're stuck at your desk, or you're stuck out somewhere and you're finding that you're overwhelmed or can't focus or need that break from the world, these are the pieces that you can pull in when you need them. Fast and easy. You don't even need a yoga mat. So we're going to start, although I do like having my mat. It's cleaner than my floor. Let's start in the mountain pose. Tuck your hips under and just tighten up through your core. Bring your shoulders up, back, and down. And just feel the floor with your feet. I like to rotate the palms forward. Again, this is not how I would normally stand. So by activating this, we're forcing the brain to focus on something, which means everything else gets to go away. It's all of those little tricks, which are why the physical postures of yoga help deliver that meditative sensation. So for the mountain pose, start by focusing on your feet, gripping the floor, lifting up through your arches, tightening your legs. Lengthening, hips tuck under, core starts to tighten. Lengthen along the spine, bring your chest forward, shoulders move to back, body, arms lengthen, palms facing forward. Lengthen through the neck, chin tips down slightly, soften your face, maybe smile. And breathe. This would be a great time to move back into that 5-4 breath that we just practiced. So let's do that together. Inhale for 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Slowly bring the hands to the heart. Sometimes, and you can open your eyes now, sometimes even just that simple little bit of work in the mountain pose is enough to feel like you've grounded and had that break from life. If you want to go further, this is a quick little, not really big space consuming sequence that I like to do to either get my blood flowing or to remove creative blocks that I might be facing during my day. So I'm going to bring my feet a little bit further together. Just to note, we're going to be coming down into a little bit of a squat. I'm comfortable doing this with a flat foot. If you are not, stay up on your toe base, please and thank you. So let's start by sweeping up. Inhale, bring your hands up over top of your head, just reaching up here, and then exhale, pushing the energy down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And just roll your shoulders. Good. So now we'll come into the actual sequence. So all we're going to do is sweep up, really lengthening, and then as you slide the hands down along the midline, you're going to track and follow your palms as you come down. So again, you can stay up on the toe base if you need to. We plant the hands, push the bum up into the air, and then sweep up and come back to the heart. So that's one cycle. You can do this quickly, you can do this slowly. The important thing is to breathe as much as you need. Sometimes I have the timing to just do one breath in, exhale all the way down, inhale all the way up. But today we're going a little bit more slowly, so maybe a few breaths would be handy. Let's go again. Inhale up. And then breathing as you need to. Keep the core tight as you lower. Palms, butt lifts, sweeping up. And down. Coming up. And down. And up. Let's bring the energy back to heart center. Close your eyes and breathe. Good. So again, you could do that 3 or 4 times. You could do it 10 times. I find after I go through it a couple of rounds and get comfortable with the physical motion and the rhythm and the breath, I tend to close my eyes. I lose myself in this, and I can keep going for a while, and then I'm done, and I can get on with the rest of my life. It's just that easy to pull upon tool. So I want to kind of increase that understanding of just the comfort that comes from physical motion. So just bringing your feet apart, adjusting your pants, and tuck your hips under, and we start by just kind of leaning into one knee. And then move to the other side. So I'm going to breathe in and up, and then exhale, starting to come down. Add some arms. Inhale. Deeper, louder breath. And releasing. Good. Bring your feet back together. So if you're starting to feel like this is not your idea of meditation, that's okay. Because if we could just shift what our idea of meditation was or is, it allows us to create more opportunities in our life. Again, how simple is that beautiful flow back and forth? It's like if I think about the times where I am really about to just lose it, I'm frustrated, I can't figure out a solution to a problem, nothing's going my way, those are often times where I might head to the fridge and grab a snack or a beer or God knows what. And maybe I just need to breathe and move and just kind of feel that flow coming back into my body and just rhythmically starting to let stuff go. Think about that action of rocking a baby. There's a reason why we rock a baby. There's a reason why when we're rocking a baby that's upset, we just do a little shh. It's okay. Our body responds, and it happens to be what we call meditation. It's pretty cool. I want to show you 2 more techniques really quickly. So this one is a really beautiful, again, gentle flow, and it takes a lot of focus because there's timing involved. So all we're going to do is sweep our palms up and we connect the hands. You can't see them, but they are there. And then with a nice tight core, you're going to bring the hands down and bring one knee up. So we connect here, then sweep up as you slowly bring the foot down. And as your hands connect again, that's when your foot drops. And then we move to the other side, connecting, sweeping. And again, it's all about this timing. So just join me now. Move to the other side. Breathe when and where you need to, but keep breathing. And we'll bring everything back to the heart. And then I kept going because now I'm starting to feel relaxed, which is good. So I want to show you, and again, that is something you can keep doing. And I find the more rounds of that I do, the more I get lost in it. It becomes a little bit more fluid, a little bit more flowy, and I just start to really kind of let everything go. And once you get that feeling of letting everything go, that's when the stuff that's bothering you stops bothering you. And that's the moment when your brain is taking over control of the situation. And really, if we would just let our brains drive the process, sometimes more than all of the emotionally, chemically responses in our bodies, we would be far more chill more of the time. Okay, one more little exercise here, and then we're going to go on to meditation for the mind. So this is just a walking meditation. You can do this in a labyrinth, you can do this in your yard, you can do it in your home. I love doing this on a beach. All you're going to do is with every step, you take a breath in, and the next step, you exhale. It is slow, it is intentional. You'll probably feel like you're lacking balance because when we move, that fluidity, that balance comes from kind of being in motion, and when we take away that speed, it becomes rigid and awkward, again, causing you to focus. So I'm just going to walk towards the camera, and then I'm going to come back. You can create whatever space you need in your home. This might not need to be something that we practice together, but it'll give you a chance to try it, which means when you take it further on your own, you might feel a little bit more comfortable. So just relax. A couple of deep breaths to begin. And then when you're ready, inhale. And then exhale. And keep going, breath by breath. back to our starting point. Again, it's so simple. It's so basic, this act of not being rushed, of intentionally placing a foot and then the next foot and doing it with a breath. And if you find that you're racing, if you find that your brain is being distracted, going on to other things, go back to that 5-4 breath. Bring in the count, bring in one layer of, assistance, a little bit more backup to see if it can get you to focus. And that's how we kind of move forward. Some other things that you can think about that are physical forms of meditation or meditation hacks, so to speak, would be a balance posture, right? Really forcing yourself to breathe and be grounded in balance postures or balance flow sequences. If you start thinking of other things, you're gone. When I'm teaching dance classes, I always say, stop thinking, right? If you're just present with the music and watching, you will know where you have to step and how you have to step. And for me, remembering choreography, I just have to let my brain do its job. If I start thinking about what song is next or what am I going to do next week or all of these other pieces, I lose what I'm in the middle of, and that's when I make a mistake. So that kind of wraps up meditation for the physical self, meditation for the body. So I want you to get comfortable, and we'll do the final act, which is meditation for the mind. So as our third act, now I want to cover meditation for the mind. And we've covered meditation for the breath, so breath work, meditation for the body, so different flow sequences, different physical practices that take a lot of focus. And now we move into the mind. So again, we are not doing a lot for our brains on a regular basis, a lot to cause that beautiful focus with the outcome that everything else goes away. And sometimes I like to do this with music, so strapping on headphones and really losing myself in complete focus with a piece of music. The other thing you can do is you can listen to, somebody reading something. There's nothing that, is as impactful as a beautiful soliloquy. And today I'm going to share with you just a very brief piece of poetry, a poem written by Al Purdy, one of my favorite poets. And I like Al Purdy's poetry because it's simple, it's clear, it's concise, but there's so much there. And so all I want you to do is be comfortable, and I want you to listen, to just focus on the words, focus on what I'm saying, and don't lose yourself in the meaning of it. Just be present with it. And then when we're done, I'm just going to invite you to just sit and just have nothing in your brain for a little bit longer. And if that's troublesome, if you've got stuff going on, just go back to a really deep, intentional breath in and out. And I guess I should say, if you want to lie down, you could do that as well, because I'm going to read this for you. So take some deep breaths and maybe close your eyes. And this is a poem by Al Purdy called The Last Picture in the World. A hunched gray shape framed by leaves with lake water behind, standing on our little point of land like a small monk in a green monastery meditating. Almost sculpture, except that it's alive, brooding, immobile, permanent for half an hour. A blue heron. And it occurs to me that if I were to die at this moment, that picture would accompany me wherever I'm going for part of the way. So just keep your eyes closed, breathe, be present. Good. So just as a guided meditation, a yoga nidra, anything with imagery can have a really profound impact on you, so can poetry, so can spoken word, so can a great piece of music. We just don't often remember to be present with these things. Somebody might not feel like lying down and doing a guided meditation or a yoga nidra, but it might be great to listen to some poetry and ask yourself, when's the last time you did that? So again, this is just an opportunity for me to share some of what I have in my resource toolkit, bucket, whatever you want to call it. These little practices that I pull out often on a daily basis to remind myself that I don't have to function at a super high level without support. And also to remind myself that my needs are going to constantly change. And none of this is a one, size fits all solution. Meditation is not one thing. Meditation is constantly changing. Meditation is choice and options and whatever you need to achieve that effect of making the world go away, even if only for a few moments. And every time you do that through the act of practicing meditation, every time you do that, it becomes more familiar, more comfortable, more likely that you will do that again. And it's like, if you have a really bad headache and you finally take the Advil or whatever, and you're like, why didn't I do that 4 hours ago? Meditation is the same. If you're feeling that sense of being overwhelmed or spinning or struggling with something, just take that meditation break and see what happens. Anyway, a reminder, meditation can happen in many different forms. In this practice, we did it in 3 acts. Meditation for the breath, for the body, and for the mind. I hope this is helpful. Thanks so much. See you soon. Namaste.